CTV News with Caroline Van Vlartigan.
Good evening. It is game one, check. The Montreal Canadiens played their first game against the Carolina Hurricanes tonight to open the Eastern Conference Finals on the road, and they won handily 6-2. And Kelly, despite the lopsided final score, the Canadiens and the Canes didn't waste any time with both teams scoring in the first minute of the game.
That's right, Caroline. The big question coming into this one was, are the Canadiens the underdogs or the underestimated? And I guess we have our answer, but it was a wild first period with the scoring happening on the very first shot of the game. It was Zeth Jarvis who opened the scoring against the Canadiens there. But what a response as Cole Caulfield comes down the ice seconds later and rifles it from the high slot. But it didn't end there. Montreal would jump out to a 4-1 lead in the first period alone, with Philippe Danault's second in 2 games. Then assisting on Alex Texier's goal, with Ivan Demidov adding another, coming in all alone. And a bit of deja vu on Demidov's goal, as we've seen that exact move from him before. Talk about a way to open a series, especially on the road against the best team in the East. Carolina would get one back in the second, but the top line strikes again, and this time it is Juraj Slafkovsky. He ends the night with 2 goals and 1 assist, as he adds another insurance goal late in the third period. And as I mentioned, what a way to open a series, especially against the top team in the East. Afterwards, though, it was all about the first period.
It was a great start by the guys, obviously, to battle back after that first shift, being down 1, and it's a great effort to get that much of a lead.
I mean, I think especially the first 10 minutes, especially, it was just high execution from everyone, and that's what won us the game. I think in the second period they kind of brought it to us, and we weren't executing as well, but we had such a healthy lead there that it got us to the finish.
Now, it was a bit of a later start tonight, and especially midweek, but it didn't stop Habs fans from coming out in full force and full volume. Espas 1909 was packed for game 1, and despite no watch party outside, there was also plenty of people out in the streets around the Bell Centre watching the game through screens in bars and restaurants. Now, I'll have to be honest, my ears still ringing there. You can hear how loud the fans are in the background, especially when you do that 6 times for all 6 goals. And while the Habs have been tagged as the underdogs, as I mentioned, for a lot of fans, this is starting to feel real, like the cup is in reach.
Montreal in 4 all the way,
100%.
all the way, no doubt about it. Let's just give us the cup and that's it. let's
pick up and leave. Let's go.
Let's go get it.
I was hoping for this. Definitely hoping for it. Very happy.
I was there in 21 in Tampa Bay when poor Carey Price and the team. And 93 as well, this feels a lot like then, and we got this.
Now, of course, there's a lot of confidence. Game 2 will be on Saturday night, and I do have to mention the Habs are the first team in this playoffs to beat the Carolina Hurricanes. The Canes had come in with a perfect 8-0 record. Well, now that is 8-1. Caroline?
All right, a lot of giddy fans there tonight. Thanks very much, Kelly. That's Kelly Gregg reporting live from the Bell Centre, or outside the Bell Centre. Well, the Montreal Victoire came home to celebrate their PWHL Walter Cup victory last night in Ottawa.
Victoire! Montreal has won their first Walter Cup.
There was celebration on the ice and in the stands, and those celebrations continued this morning outside the Verdun Auditorium, where Matt Gilmore caught up with the team.
A victorious Marie-Philippe Poulain shows off the one piece of silverware she'd yet to win.
It's so surreal. We have the most special fans in Montreal, and they showed up again. They showed up in Ottawa. They showed up all year long, so a big thank you.
Outside the Verdun Auditorium, fans were there to welcome home the PWHL champions.
I'm just so proud of them, and like Montreal is proud of them, so I'm just really happy for them, yeah.
There's a community now that has been created with this league. It's a celebration, and I think we're going to be out there celebrating. It's going to be a positive celebration.
Inside, the Montreal Alliance basketball team joined in on the celebrations. A party that's only just getting started.
Last night was pretty fun. We had fun with the cup. We drink a lot in the cup, and we had our time to shine, and we're back and we're ready to party again.
But for those who came out to experience the homecoming, the win means something more.
I just think for girls, this is like, if you think of, I think a lot of the players growing up and what they had to go through to get here, and to see little girls now, like here getting signatures, it's inspiring, right?
Felt amazing. I can't believe it. I got them to sign my photo of my team, and it was just amazing to just see them.
I have a daughter myself. She's 2.5, and all she knows is that she wants to be a Victoire and she wants to play hockey, and I really find that super inspiring.
An impact not lost on the captain.
Yeah, I was that little kid back in the day where there's not many possibilities for us. There was a lot of men's hockey, but the Karen Ouellet, the Kim St. Pierre, they paved the way for all of us, and being able to do that and inspire the young generation, being part of PWHL.
It caps off a special season for the Montreal Victoire, finishing first place in the regular season and now celebrating the team's first ever Walter Cup back home with their fans. Matt Gilmore, CTV News.
Well, amidst all the hockey excitement, it is also Grand Prix weekend in the city. The Canadian Grand Prix officially begins tomorrow, and today was a big day for race fans. Here's Sweeta Rassi on that.
At Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, the excitement is hard to miss.
We love the Montreal Grand Prix. It's the best weekend of the year.
I think just the action, the passion, and also all the fans are amazing.
Fans from all over the world got the chance to get as close as they'll ever get to the race cars.
Just an amazing look into the pits and close up, things you don't even see on TV long enough to focus in on it. So it's been very amazing.
I mean, the amount of detail and effort that goes into each car is just crazy. So to see it up close and the mechanics working is, yeah, it's really cool.
For Montreal's very own Lance Stroll, coming back to the city continues to be his favorite part.
I think, up there with the best fans in the world, the energy around the weekend and the whole city, how everyone embraces the race weekend, and you just feel it. You feel it when you're doing your first outlap in FP1, how electric it is around the whole circuit, so it's great to see.
This year, things are different. Formula One is in the middle of the biggest regulation change in the sport's history, with lighter cars and new engines.
We have a different kind of technology this year with hybrid system, with 50% of the power delivered by electricity, and 50 other are with normal engine.
Former race car driver Bertrand Gaudin says for the drivers, Montreal's circuits will be a big test on how they adapt.
You have no place for mistake because there's wall all around. So you don't have a lot of escape road. So you should be really focused, really precise.
The fans will certainly be watching. With practice starting tomorrow, the excitement continues to build. Sweeta Rassi, CTV News.
Well, following in the well-worn footsteps of Quebecers, Albertans will have a say on whether or not to stay in Canada with an additional question in a referendum this October.
The additional question will be, should Alberta remain a province of Canada? Or should the government of Alberta commence the legal process required under the Canadian Constitution to hold a binding provincial referendum on whether or not Alberta should separate from Canada?
Premier Danielle Smith added that she will personally vote to remain in Canada, but her United Conservative Party caucus passed a motion asking her to set add the separation vote to determine Alberta's place in Canada. Federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says he will campaign for Canadian unity and is urging Prime Minister Mark Carney to give Albertans more access to exploit their natural resources. There's been no official reaction from the leaders of Quebec's political parties, including the Parti Québécois, yet. Well, Montreal recorded 161 cases of Lyme disease in 2025, the highest number of cases in 2 decades. Montreal's public health agency believes 38% of those reported in Montreal were contracted within the city. The entire island of Montreal has been considered a risk since 2024. The tick-borne disease has been rising across Quebec, with close to 870 cases across the province last year by November. Experts say ticks survive more easily in warmer weather that's being brought on by climate change. An Air France flight bound for the U.S. was diverted to Montreal last night. It was because of an American flight restriction tied to the Ebola outbreak in Africa. The plane was en route from Paris to Detroit when it was found to be carrying a passenger from East Africa. The U.S. has denied entry to all travelers from that region because of the Ebola outbreak. U.S. Customs and Border Protection says the passenger was mistakenly allowed to board the flight. The passenger was taken off the plane in Montreal and was checked by health authorities and then sent back to Paris.
Historically, the most effective Ebola control measures are rapid diagnosis, isolation of symptomatic cases, contact tracing, and protection of healthcare workers. And importantly, it's the investment in the infrastructure to be able to do that and to be able to care for Ebola patients, which unfortunately the U.S. has done the opposite. They've actually cut funding to countries where there are these potential emerging pathogens.
The RCMP have arrested a Quebec man on suspicion of terrorism. They say it's part of a national security investigation and that they have grounds to believe a 40-year-old man by the name of Ali Ben Chawa might commit a terrorist act. Chawa is alleged to have made numerous posts on TikTok in support of the Islamic State. There was a bail hearing today for a well-known Montreal lawyer. Daniel Rochefort is facing several charges of child luring, sex assault, and production of child pornography. Stéphane Giroux has details.
Daniel Rochefort is facing several charges related to sex assault, child luring, and production of child pornography. Rochefort has been detained for the past 2 weeks. In a recent police release, investigators believe there could be more potential victims, and they're asking them to come forward. In court this morning, the Crown argued why it believes the 72-year-old should remain behind bars until his trial. Rochefort's own lawyer made the case for his release. A publication ban prevents us from reporting any other details. Rochefort's arrest surprised many in the legal community. He served as a lawyer in numerous public inquests in the past 30 years, from the Oka crisis to the Charbonneau Commission. Rochefort also taught for many years at the University of Montreal. But according to our colleagues at Nouveau, he was fired following allegations of harassment by female students. Rochefort was also involved over the years as an organizer of several beauty pageants, including Miss Teenage Universe. The case will continue tomorrow. Stéphane Giroux, CTV News.
Saint-Jérôme now has a specialized court for victims of sexual and domestic violence. The court aims to support victims in the Laurentians and navigate the court system. 6 social workers and legal experts have been hired, and 2 Crown prosecutors will work exclusively for the specialized court.
We will help more the victims to be able to testify in security, in a safe space, to be sure that when they will be ready to make a denunciation to the police, from the beginning to the end, there will be support.
And there are now about 30 of these specialized courts operating across the province. Well, Laval police have arrested a 38-year-old man for sexual assault, and they are looking for more possible victims. Niku Edouard Christia is accused of drugging and sexually assaulting a woman he met in a bar in Laval on April the 25th. Christia remains in custody and will be back in court tomorrow. And Quebec has a new program to help young adults find their first jobs. It offers financial support to small and medium-sized businesses as well as nonprofits to new graduates. The subsidy can last up to 16 weeks and covers up to half of a minimum wage salary. And still to come, 2 new drugs approved in Canada could be early game changers against Alzheimer's.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
Increasing number of abandoned buildings.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVMontreal.ca, your home for news.
Two new drugs have been approved in Canada for use for people in the earliest stages of Alzheimer's disease, signaling a new era in treatment. Pauline Chan reports.
The news is good for patients like Greg Underhill and his wife, Jocelyn.
We're very excited about the possibility and the potential of the new drugs that they have approved now in Canada.
Greg, age 52, is now using the most recently approved medication for Alzheimer's, donanemab.
It is the second of the class of antibodies targeting amyloid, clearing amyloid from the brain. And amyloid is the first toxic protein that accumulates in Alzheimer's disease.
And Dr. Sharon Cohen says both donanemab and lecanemab, approved last October, are only for patients in the earliest stages of the disease.
So people are still independent, living at home. They may be working, shopping, banking, traveling, but they have some problems with memory and cognition.
The drugs can only be prescribed by a neurologist or other memory specialists like geriatrician or specialist family doctor. She also points out that there can be side effects like tiny brain bleeds or swelling.
With lecanemab, there's a little less propensity to cause those side effects, but with most drugs, we monitor for those possibilities.
Like I always feel good. I'm not really sure. She tells me when I'm, repeating myself lots, but I mean, right now, I don't think I'm really repeating much.
Yeah. It's definitely gotten better since we started medication and treatment for Alzheimer's than what he was before.
While both drugs have been approved, funding arrangements are still under negotiation. Lecanemab is $47,000 a year, donanemab about $30,000. Still, for the 750,000 families dealing with Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia in Canada, just having the two options available is a step in the right direction. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A new survey has come up with an unexpected finding. It found that 1 in 10 Canadian Netflix subscribers has a tattoo related to their favorite shows. Here's Kevin Fleming.
It's a 4-hour process for Cody Wilmot to get his favorite characters tattooed onto his arm. He says it hurts, but it's worth it. This is his first tattoo, and it means a lot to him because the two characters are from shows that he and his wife enjoy.
Snorlax is just a Pokemon that I've always enjoyed growing up. And Luffy's a character of an anime I'm sure everyone knows, One Piece. I've watched all of One Piece. I'm currently up to date on that one.
It was Alex Chen's job to take the idea and combine the two characters into a tattoo for Wilmot.
I love all of it, honestly. The artwork, the color, he did a phenomenal job on all of it. It reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of my wife. It's a wonderful piece.
Chen was one of many artists across the country contacted by Netflix Canada to take part in a survey about how shows on streaming services are turned into tattoo art.
1 out of 10 of the Canadian Netflix subscribers, they actually have a Netflix related tattoo. So like the trend is definitely getting bigger and doing a bigger effect on like the tattoo industry.
And this is Chen's specialty. He's been working on pop culture tattoos for 8 years.
They don't just get the pop culture tattoo because of how they look cool or like how wonderful the design was. Not just that. They actually came in because of how the characters reminds them who they really were at a certain point of life.
Leah Anifuwushe sees many trends come and go, but says pop culture tattoos aren't going anywhere.
I don't know if it'll ever really die out. Maybe it'll like shift to like different characters or different like medias maybe, but I think like pop culture has always like really moved people, so that's going to be something we're going to see for like years to come.
Chen says some of his favorite characters to work with now are from K-pop Demon Hunters, because that's a show he and his 4-year-old daughter watch a lot. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
And still to come, trying to set a personal best at a century.
Menswear provided by Ernest. Elevate your style with Ernest. For breaking news and local news that matters to you, download the CTV News app right now by scanning the QR code on your screen using your smartphone. Or you can also go to our website, ctvnewsmontreal.ca. Weather brought to you by Gratian Scaff's 50th anniversary gift event. Get a complete second pair and sunglasses as a gift.
Well, it was a rude awakening with a return to some of that cold that we know all too well in the area. We had a temperature of +7 degrees in Montreal this morning, +5 over in Sherbrooke. So that is, of course, coming down from our record high temperatures in that realm, at least. That record sits at 30.6 degrees for today. And what we had this morning was even cool for our normal overnight low. So that number sits at 9 degrees. Here's what we have coming tonight. We're forecasting a low of +7 along with clear skies. For tomorrow morning, looking at that temperature of +9. Sunshine coming in, holding on to that into the afternoon. We're looking at a few clouds coming in as we move up in temperature to a high of 20 degrees. And of course, that is just in time with Grand Prix races kicking off. Our futurecast showing us sunshine once again for much of southern Quebec, really up until about 3 p.m. on Friday for those of us in Montreal. We see some of those clouds coming in, but it's looking better in the days to come. On Saturday, we're forecasting mostly cloudy day, along with a high of 22 degrees. You're going to want to take that in because on Sunday and Monday, we are forecasting some precipitation coming in. So what does that look like? Well, a 40% chance of roughly 5 millimeters potentially on Sunday. On Monday, we could see another 1. We're looking at daytime highs that should be in the mid-teens. So 13 on Sunday, 18 degrees on Monday. And then by Tuesday, Wednesday, into the middle of next week, we're looking at that return to a mix of sun and clouds and warmer temperatures in the high 20s.
Well, one man has set a personal goal for this weekend, and he's getting a lot of attention for it. Here's Leah Larocque.
I set a fairly good pace.
It's time to go.
We'll turn and go back. Can we do that?
Roy Allen isn't waiting for anyone.
And I always go on the inside.
Every step counts as he prepares to lace up in the 5K at Ottawa Race Weekend, where he is set to be the oldest participant ever.
On the 5th of April, I was 100. Being 100 hasn't made any difference in how I feel.
Allen has never done race weekend before, and participating was his daughter Sarah Bercier's idea.
He has all his original joints. He has, I know, it's crazy. He has like nothing wrong with him. They're creating a new age category for him because nobody over 100 has officially done this before.
Allen definitely doesn't act his age. He dances, bowls, and recently went snorkeling. Walking, part of his routine.
At home when I'm walking, I have to do 11 laps to make 5K, and I put 5 pens in my pocket, and every time I do a lap, I put a pen in the other pocket.
Apart from proving that age is just a number, Mr. Allen is raising crucial funds for 4 organizations that have helped him in retirement, as well as his wife, who is living with dementia. Raising funds for the Council on Aging of Ottawa, the Dementia Society, the Pearly Health, where his wife Melba now lives.
We know she's well looked after 24 hours a day.
And the Gloucester 50+ Centre.
The people there remember the Great Depression, they remember the Second World War, and some of them took part in that. So we can talk about those things.
Each lap of the mall, 700 meters. 7 laps equal to his race distance.
Good. I did like 1 lap.
He says he's waited his whole life for this historic walk.
It was something that hadn't been done. Why wouldn't I go and do it?
Leah LaRock, CTV News.
Wonderful. And that wraps it up for us tonight. For the latest news, you can listen to the Andrew Carter Morning Show at 5 on CJ 8800. And of course, you can always head to our website, ctvnewsmontreal.ca, for extended coverage, including coverage of a story about police who have arrested 5 people after a series of raids in Ganawagi and Montreal as part of an investigation into the flow of illegal firearms passing through the Mohawk territory on the city's South Shore. 2 firearms were seized at the time, and it's all part of a joint operation between Montreal Police and the Ganawagi Mohawk Peacekeepers. It's all on our website. Check it out. Have a good night. We'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.